another thrift flipping episode where I take clothes that I've thrifted and turn them into something a little more trendy and a little more wearable. The day what I have for you guys is a little bit different. It's a Reformation inspired thrift flip. The pieces are also a little bit different since I can't really go thrifting right now. I already owned both of these pieces, but one of them is not really clothing and then the other isn't really thrifted. It's just kind of a clothing transformation video, if you will. But I've been looking at Reformation's website a lot lately and I've just seen some really cute things, and then I also have a bunch of their stuff pinned on my Pinterest. And so I found these two pieces that I thought would look really good if I like changed them up just a little bit. One of them I changed up a lot and the other one I changed up a little bit to kind of get the Reformation look. Okay, so the first piece I tried to recreate was this like cardigan slash button-up shirt type top. This top is super trendy right now, and I know you can find stuff like this from more affordable brands like American Eagle, and I know Brandy Melville used to have a few things like this, and I know I saw some on Princess Polly as well. So those are a little bit more affordable than this top from Reformation. The thing that I really loved about this top and why I wanted to recreate it was I love the little buttons going down the midline of the top. And my favorite thing about the shirt though is actually how the buttons are attached to the shirt, and it's with these little fabric loops going all the way down instead of like the normal like button hole slit type thing that like connects it to the shirt. Anyways, so for this thrift flip, I cheated a little bit and I got this shirt out of my closet. It is this extra large American Eagle top, and I didn't thrift it, but it was on clearance for $5, so it is still affordable even though it's not as like sustainable as thrifting is. Now, I knew that I wanted to crop this shirt as well as take it in at the sides to make it a more flattering silhouette, but I wasn't sure whether I needed to crop it first or to take it in first, so I called my trusted seamstress of a sister, and she told me that it was more important for the bottom hem to be even, and so I should take the shirt in first and then move the hem up. So I tried the shirt on inside out and I placed the pins semi-evenly on each side of my torso in order to take in even amounts on each side, and then I got some matching thread and started sewing. I decided to take it in at both sides this way instead of just creating a new seam down the back and taking it in one time, because I wanted the sleeves to stay in their current position where my arms are and not have to get a double arm relocation surgery to wear my new top. After I sewed all the way up my two new seams on the sides, I realized that I might want to take my sleeves in a bit in order to get that overall fitted look of the shirt that I wanted. So I kind of just continued my seam up the sleeve and like made a slight curve, and then my sleeves were a little bit smaller. Once I finished, I took all the pins out and tried it on right side out to see if it was as fitted as I wanted it, and much to my surprise, it was. So next up, it was time to crop this shirt. Here's a really bad angle of me trying to tuck my shirt in under and decide where I want it to fall on my waist. And here's a much better view of where I decided to make the cut, which was right at the third button from the bottom. When you're doing this, it helps to wear a pair of jeans that you really like the fit of and that you like the rise of, because I didn't want my shirt to be like too long or too short for any jeans that I would want to wear, and I really like the fit of these jeans, so I wore those. Then I went ahead and cut off all of the extra fabric that I knew I wouldn't be needing, so it was easier for me to hem the shirt, and then I pinned it with about a 1 centimeter seam, and I sewed my new hem. So after all of this work, I was pretty happy with the results that I had, but I noticed a few things that I still need to fix up. Firstly, the front hem didn't really match up together. Like one side of the buttons was a little bit longer than the other side, and so I wanted to go back in and make this more even. Secondly, I realized that the bottom of the shirt was no longer as fitted as I had hoped, because when I made the two new seams, I made them into a straight line and my waist goes in a little bit at the bottom. So I also wanted to take like a diagonal cut out of that shirt. So I took about 2 more centimeters off the bottom of those sides and just kind of made a diagonal up and just sewed up those new seams. I also decided when I was trying this on that I didn't really love the look of the lettuce hem sleeves, because I had taken the lettuce hem off the bottom and I thought they made the shirt look a little more like childish and just like young. So I decided to fold them over and make the sleeves just a little bit shorter and not have that lettuce hem anymore. But my sewing is not the best, and it kind of looked a little bit wonky because the lettuce hem is still like inside the sleeves, but I feel like no one would really notice that. So here is the before and after. I am extremely new to sewing and I feel like I did a really decent job on this top. I think it definitely resembles the Reformation cardigan more now than it did originally, and I've never really worn this top in the past, even though it's super comfy, because I felt like it just wasn't very flattering on me and it just made me look a little bit frumpy. But now I absolutely love it, and I've already worn it twice since I made this video, and I definitely don't think it looks as expensive as the Reformation top, but I think that the Reformation top doesn't even look as expensive as the Reformation top is. So, yeah. And I really wasn't gonna mess with the sleeves at first because I just thought they would be fine the way they are, and hemming sleeves is like a little bit hard for me, but I'm so glad that I did that. I feel like it makes the shirt look a lot more like fitted and just like adult-like kind of, and just overall it gives it a more put together look. So on to our next piece. This next piece is a little bit more of a creative endeavor on my part. I found these really cute curtains at one of my local thrift stores a while ago, and I knew just from the patterns that I could make something out of these. I just didn't know what. And originally they cost me $4, and this is just so much fabric. I feel like $4 is so cheap. And when I saw this Reformation top, I realized that it was the perfect thrift flip to make these curtains, well, in my mind, to make these curtains into this top. Sort of. Basically, my vision for this top was to just take one of the ruffled pieces and then layer it over top of another, and so it would just be like kind of a double ruffled looking top sort of thing. And I've tried to make the tiny little straps that are on the Reformation shirt before, and I just cannot get the straps to turn inside out. I don't know how to do it, and I can't do it anymore. I've tried so many times. So I knew that wasn't gonna happen, so I just decided to put some thick straps on the top, and I knew I could do that. So I know that the gingham look of these curtains is a lot different than just the plain linen look of the Reformation top, but I feel like the gingham gives the shirt a little bit more character, and who doesn't love some olive colored gingham? I know I do. So the first thing I did was to line two of the ruffled edges up together on top of each other so you could still see most of the bottom ruffle, but you couldn't see the differing pattern of the section of fabric attached to that ruffle of the curtain, if that makes any sense. I'm sorry. To put these two together, I just pinned the top onto the other piece of fabric that's attached to the bottom ruffle. I hope this makes sense. It's really hard to explain, but you guys will see when I'm done sewing it. Once I pinned the top ruffle to the bottom ruffle's extra fabric, I went ahead and sewed it together, and I decided to sew it over the original stitches that were already in the ruffle so that it looked a little bit more like professional. Then I held it up to make sure that everything was attached before I cut off the excess fabric. For the next step, in order to make the top a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more sturdy, I decided to add this thick elastic band all around the top, and I thought at this point that it would maybe hold up the shirt on its own and I wouldn't even need the straps, because I was a little bit worried about making the straps. That's like definitely not my strong suit. So I pinned the elastic on at a couple different points of the shirt to make it easier for me to stretch it and to know exactly how much to stretch at each part that I was gonna sew, because when you're sewing an elastic, you have to stretch out the elastic on the fabric as you sew. Originally, I sewed these two pieces together with a straight stitch just to get the elastic attached to the top, and then I went back in with a zigzag stitch just to further secure the elastic to the top. So at the end of this, I thought that maybe the elastic would just hold the shirt up on my body, but somehow I either mismeasured, or I think what I ended up doing was cutting a little bit too much elastic off to give myself like a little room to sew them together. But I think that I sewed them together too far apart, so the top was just a little bit loose on me. I tried it on and it fit pretty well, but I still would be like a little bit uncomfortable to wear this in public because I feel like it might fall down, or just like I'd have a little malfunction, a little wardrobe malfunction, and we don't want that. So I decided I definitely needed something else to hold up the top. But I also realized that I hadn't finished sewing the back completely together, so I had to go back to the machine and just finish sewing the two ruffles together on the top. So I did that, and then I went to work on my sleeves. Now, in my original design, my idea was to just have two thick straps going down the sides. But while I was trying on the shirt, I noticed some of the extra ruffle pieces on the ground, and I thought that those might be kind of cute to like add to the edge of the shirt, like a cute little sleeve on the side. But I realized that as is, those would be like way too huge on the shirt, and it would just be like very overbearingly gingham. So I decided to cut a little bit of the excess fabric off of the sides of the ruffles and then make a new seam and just make them a little bit shorter before I secured them to the top. And here is the before and after of this shirt. I am so proud of myself for this piece because I truly like made this shirt. Like I took a pair of curtains, some curtains that I found at a thrift store, and I like made them into an actual shirt that I'm gonna wear. And although it's not like an exact replica of the Reformation one, I definitely got my inspiration from there, and I feel like it's a similar look, I guess. But I honestly really like gingham, and I really also love the sleeves. Like I'm really glad that I put those in there. Just overall, I'm like so proud of like my sewing skills during this, and just that I was able to like get these two pieces together, and I did this all in one day. And so yeah, I'm just pretty proud of myself, as you can tell. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the end results of the two pieces. I'm super excited about them, and as I said, I already wore the white one twice. I haven't worn the green one yet because I feel like I haven't had really an occasion to go out of the house and wear something cute like that, so I'm sure I will as soon as we're out of this quarantine. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm really glad that I'm back to like thrifting and thrift flipping and sewing and just like creating in that way, because I really love doing these videos and I really love just creating new things, and I'm super excited to show you guys what else I have for you. So see you next week. Bye!